Welcome to Kindness Stories, where we share powerful stories that touch the heart, open the eyes, and awaken the strength within. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another story that could change your perspective and maybe even your life. It was a rainy Monday morning when Emily Green stepped through the front gates of Crestfield High. Her long brown hair clung to her damp hoodie, her glasses fogged from the sudden shift in temperature. She kept her head low, clutching her worn-out backpack tightly against her chest. Emily had always been quiet, the kind of girl who sat in the back of the class and scribbled poetry in the margins of her notebook while others laughed and shouted. She wasn't invisible, but to most, she was forgettable, and for her, that was perfectly fine. But high school isn't kind of those who try to disappear. The trouble began 2 months after Emily transferred from her old school in the suburbs. Her mother had lost her job, and the family had to move to the city, which meant Emily had to start over. New school, new faces, new predators. The worst of them were Tyler, Vince, and Jax, seniors who prided themselves on ruling the halls through fear and arrogance. They didn't just tease, they tormented, and once they set their sights on you, there was no escape. Emily first caught their attention during lunch in the cafeteria. She had just sat down with her tray when Tyler knocked it out of her hands. With a smirk, "What's for lunch, mouse? Oh wait, nothing now." He chuckled as mashed potatoes splattered across the floor. People laughed. Not everyone, but enough to make her feel like the ground might swallow her whole. She didn't say a word. She just knelt down, picked up what she could, and left. The bullying didn't stop there. They began leaving notes in her locker. Some were crude, others threatening. They'd block her way in the hallways, whispering obscene comments as she passed. Vince once grabbed her notebook, flipped through the pages of her poetry, and read them aloud in a mocking tone. She had turned red with shame. The school did nothing. She told a teacher once, but the response was cold. Teen boys tease. Just ignore them, and they'll get bored, the counselor had said with a dismissive smile. But Tyler and his crew weren't getting bored. They were getting bolder. What they didn't know, what no one knew, was that Emily had started taking self-defense classes the very day she arrived in Crestfield. Her father, a former Marine, insisted on it. City's not as soft as the suburbs, he said. You don't have to fight, sweetheart, but you need to know how, just in case. At first, she hated it. The punches, the drills, the bruises. But week after week, she got stronger, not just physically, but mentally. She didn't notice it right away, but something inside her was changing. A quiet fire had started to burn. Still, she didn't fight back at school. She didn't want to be seen as aggressive. She just wanted peace. But peace wasn't an option anymore. The moment everything changed came on a chilly Wednesday morning. Emily had stayed late after school for a tutoring session. The halls were quiet, her footsteps echoing as she made her way to her locker. She was grabbing a book when she heard laughter behind her. She turned. Tyler, Vince, Jax. They weren't supposed to be there. All of them had detention that afternoon, but clearly, they skipped. Well, Tyler said, stepping closer. "What's the mouse doing here all alone?" Emily didn't reply. She turned back to her locker, hoping they'd just leave. "Hey, we're talking to you," Jax added, his tone sharp. She closed her locker and tried to walk away, but Vince blocked her path. Not so fast. She could smell their cologne, cheap and overwhelming. The tension in the air was suffocating. Tyler stepped behind her and suddenly grabbed her arm. "What's the rush? We just want to play." Before she could react, his hand slid across her chest. And that was it. Something snapped inside her. Emily didn't think. Her body moved on its own. She twisted sharply, breaking his grip with a quick jerk of her shoulder. She stepped back and raised her hands into the stance her instructor drilled into her 100 times. Tyler laughed. "Oh, she thinks she's some kind of ninja now." But his laugh was cut short. Emily lunged forward, driving her palm into his nose with a force that sent him stumbling backward, clutching his face as blood gushed between his fingers. Jax tried to grab her from behind, but she dropped low and slammed her elbow into his ribs, spinning to land a brutal side kick to his knee. He collapsed with a scream. Vince charged at her, but she ducked and swept his legs. sending him crashing to the floor with a thud. His head bounced off the linoleum tiles. Asterisk within seconds. The hallway was filled with groans and cries. Asterisk Emily stood there, breathing heavily, her fists clenched, eyes wide with disbelief at what she had just done. Asterisk, and that's when Miss Carter, the vice principal, turned the corner. Asterisk, the silence was deafening. Asterisk, 3 boys on the ground, bleeding and moaning. One girl standing tall, her eyes filled not with fear, but with strength. Asterisk, for a moment, no one spoke. Asterisk, then Tyler, still holding his nose, shouted, "She attacked us. That crazy bee." Asterisk, but Miss Carter raised a hand. "Save it. The cameras caught everything." Asterisk, the next day. The footage was all over the district. Tyler, Jax, and Vince were suspended indefinitely and later expelled. Emily's actions were ruled self-defense, and for the first time, she wasn't just the quiet girl, she was the brave girl. Asterisk, people began to talk to her, not out of pity but out of respect. Asterisk, students she'd never spoken to thanked her for standing up. Other girls shared their own stories of being harassed or bullied, and some even joined her at the self-defense class she still attended. Asterisk, Emily didn't become loud. She didn't suddenly crave attention or popularity, but she walked with her head higher. She looked people in the eye, and when she spoke, she was heard. Asterisk, months later, at the end of year assembly, she was given the Courage Award by the school board. She didn't give a long speech. She just walked up, accepted the award, and said one thing. Asterisk, sometimes being kind means standing up for yourself, for others, for what's right. Asterisk, the gym erupted in applause. Asterisk, that summer, Emily started a self-defense program at the local community center for other teens like her, quiet, gentle souls who'd been pushed afar for too long. She called it Project Brave. Asterisk, and every time someone new walked in, nervous and unsure, Emily greeted them with a smile and said, Asterisk, you don't have to fight, but you should know how, just in case. Asterisk, because sometimes kindness doesn't look like silence. It looks like strength. Asterisk, thank you for watching Kindness Stories. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you of someone brave in your life, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Asterisk, remember, the quietest voices can carry the loudest strength, and sometimes kindness roars. Asterisk.